Greetings, my dear students. Now we have reached the final segment of Writing for Professional Purposes Part 1. That is Unit 7 of Writing for Academic and Professional Success. We are going to acquaint ourselves with surveys and questionnaires today. So let's get started. First, we should know what are surveys. So let's get started. In surveys, direct information gathering happens. It is not from public sources but from the real world. Surveys are conducted through questionnaires. That is, questionnaire is the medium for conducting a survey. But the terms surveys and questionnaires can be used interchangeably. In certain contexts, both are used as one particular meaning. Learning objectives of surveys. First one, to prepare a questionnaire or interview questions. Second one, to carry out the survey. Third one, to make a summary of the results and findings. And fourth one, to produce a written report. Difference between surveys and questionnaires. Well, there are differences between surveys and questionnaires. Survey is a type of direct information gathering. That is, you directly observe and record. For instance, a municipality might observe the traffic at an intersection to determine whether a stop light is required there. What is an intersection? It is a junction. Intersection is a junction. Coming to questionnaires. Questionnaire, similar to survey, is also a type of direct information gathering. But unlike survey, which directly observes and records, questionnaire gather people's opinions, preferences, demographic data. That is through many means. It can be through a person, print or electronic media. What is demographic data, by the way? So, demography is a study of population, and demographic data is anything related to population, data related to population. Here, there is an example for questionnaire. If you are a member of a recycling action group, you might send out questionnaires to gather the opinion from the citizens. So that is it, the difference. Both surveys and questionnaires are type of direct information gathering, but surveys directly observe and record, whereas questionnaires gather people's opinions, preferences, and through many means it collects information. This is a brainstorming session for you. What are the reasons for carrying out surveys in your college? List your ideas. So this is a session, or this is a segment where you can brainstorm. What is brainstorming? Brainstorming is a group discussion. Suppose if you were in an offline class, in a real class, you could have brainstormed. We must have conducted a brainstorming session. But since we are in an online mode, we'll discuss. So brainstorming is actually a group discussion to produce ideas or solve problems, and it can be elicited, the responses can be elicited from many students at a time. But since we are sitting at our home, brainstorming session, the topic of brainstorming session is that the reasons for carrying out surveys in the college. For example, why do you carry out surveys in your college? For what purpose? So you should answer with your ideas. Here are some basic ideas behind carrying out surveys in your college. First one is to gather information. Second one, to evoke discussions. Third one is for decision making. Fourth one, to know the responses. Fifth one, to obtain majority views. And sixth one, to compare the results. Questionnaire design. Rather, how to design your questionnaire. Writing an effective series of questions is a vital part of conducting a survey. You should think carefully about what your aims are and how to achieve them in the simplest possible way. There is no point in collecting a mass of information irrelevant to your topic. So, let's go to the first one. You should limit the number of questions. You should limit the number of questions. Why? Because the respondent can answer them in a minute or two. Long and complicated questionnaires will not receive accurate replies. So the first one is limit the number of questions. Second one, keep the questions clear and simple. It should not be too personal. So second one, clear and simple questions, and you should avoid personal questions. Third one, balance closed and open questions. Well, what is closed and open questions? Open question is that which cannot be answered in a yes or no. It requires a long response. And what is closed question? Closed question is a question for which you are provided options from which you have to choose. So open question is a question which requires a long response, not just a yes or no, and closed question is the one which has options from which you have to choose. So you have to balance these two kind of questions. Fourth one, you should work your survey as a trial. You should try it out. You should try your questionnaire out. That is, you should try putting the questions to a classmate before beginning the survey as a trial, and you can modify the questions if it is not clear. If the questions is not working with a particular person whom you know closely, you can modify the questions. You can better the questions. Fifth one, do not collect unnecessary information. Do not collect unnecessary information. That is questions like if the respondent is a PG or a UG, why should you ask this question if it is not relevant to your topic or relevant to your questionnaire? So if you really need to know this, you can ask. Otherwise, you can avoid such questions. So do not ask at all these kind of unnecessary questions. Questionnaires have advantages as well as disadvantages, plus and minus, pros and cons. It has advantages over personal interviews though. Let's go through some of these advantages of questionnaires. First one, it allows you to gather more information from more people and more quickly comparing to personal interviews. So when you compare to personal interviews, you can gather information from more people and that too more quickly. That's the first one, first advantage. Second one, it enables you to obtain responses from people in various geographic locations. That is, usually from people who are difficult to reach, you can gather information from those remote places too. So that's the second one, obtaining responses from people in various geographical locations. Third one, respondents have more time to think about their answers. If it is a personal interview, they have the pressure of composing thoughtful and complete answers to an interviewer. So comparing to a personal interview, respondents have more time to think about their answers. That's the third one. Fourth one, questionnaire may yield more objective data as the interviewer's tone of voice and facial expressions does not influence an answer. There's no kind of influence when you're answering a questionnaire because a person is not involved. So you can gather more objective data. Objective, as I told you, it is as it is, factual, without any personal evaluation. That is objective. So that was the fourth one. Fifth one is the cost of distributing and tabulating a questionnaire is lower than the cost of conducting numerous personal interviews, which means that questionnaire has a low cost. It has a lower cost compared to that of personal interviews, because you have to conduct numerous personal interviews, and just distributing and tabulating, it does not cost much. Coming to disadvantages. The results of the questionnaire may be in favor of those people who have strong opinions. So that is the first disadvantage. People who have strong opinions tend to respond quickly compared to people who have moderate views. So sometimes the results of the questionnaire may be in favor of those people who have strong opinions. So that's a disadvantage. The second disadvantage is that it does not allow follow-up questions. It does not allow logical process or follow-up questions. Questionnaire at best can be designed to let one question lead logically to another. But at times you can't give a logical, step-by-step questions. Maybe one logical question does not lead to another logical question. Sometimes you can't continue with that. So it does not provide a proper follow-up kind of questions. So that is it. It does not allow follow-up questions and it does not allow logical process. That's the second disadvantage. Third one, distributing questionnaires and waiting for replies. It takes longer time than conducting personal interviews. So when you distribute questionnaires and wait for the feedback or replies from the part of the people on whom you're conducting a survey, it takes longer time compared to the personal interview. So that is the third disadvantage. It takes a longer time. In the next section, survey language, there is a question given. Study the report of a survey carried out on a university campus. Complete the report by inserting suitable words from the box below into the gaps. So the survey is on student experience of part-time work. And here are the answers. In the introduction section, you have to fill with conducted. In the method, the answers are random, questionnaire, questioned. In the findings, interviewees, respondents, mentioned, majority, slightly, minority, questions, common, generally. In the conclusions, the answer is sample. We have to prepare a question form. Question 1, that is, do you have or have you had a part-time job, is given about table 1 in your book, page number 216. What were the other questions in the survey? Using the report, write possible questions below. So we'll attempt those questions. First one, as given in your textbook, is do you have or have you had a part-time job? Second one, what was your reason for working? Third one, what is the effect of your work on your studies? Fourth one, what is the actual work you are doing? Fifth one, how much is your pay? Sixth one, what other benefits do you derive from working? Seventh one, for how many hours do you work every day? There's another question in your textbook based on the report given. It goes like this. What is the main tense in findings and conclusion? Explain the reasons for the difference. The answer is this. In the findings, past tense is used. In the conclusion, simple present is used. You can observe that in the findings we use past tense like had part-time jobs, never done any work, who were working, worked, who had worked were next asked about their reasons. Many students said. So all these are past tense. In the conclusion, you can observe that they have used simple present. Part-time work is now a common aspect. Many students find jobs. It has a damaging effect. Many students work. All these are simple present tense. You have to give the reasons too. The reason is this. In the findings, the actions were already done and they are in past tense because the actions were already done. In the conclusion, the usual or routine things are mentioned and therefore simple present tense is used.